Your home for the best college football coverage in Utah is on the KSL Sports Zone. Ready? It's a Friday night showdown in Provo as the Cougars square off against Oklahoma State. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us today on a beautiful Tuesday. We'll see how long we can take this. Look, we're complaining about the heat. We're going to be complaining about the cold this weekend, so enjoy whatever version of those two temperature swings you like, all right? In my case, I like both of them, to be honest, for different reasons, all right? Welcome to the show. It's a Tuesday, like I said, a Taco Tuesday. We'll be giving out some Taco Tuesday prizes at the end of this segment, so stay tuned. Our program is brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, and nutritious boost. Let's kick things off here this hour. I've got a lot to jump into. And most of it is living in the pretend world, okay? College football playoff predictions, college football Big 12 power rankings, and also what the future looks like for expansion when it comes to the Mountain West and the Pac-12, what that disaster has become. So let's kick things off right here with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your local trusted financial fiduciaries. Trajan Wealth is spelled Trajan Wealth.com. All right. JJ, we got some housekeeping here as well, and it's a really fun one for us because if you listen to the KSL Sports Zone every week throughout the hockey season, we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to the Utah Hockey Club all year long. Listen on Friday, this Friday, during our show. Tune in at 4 o'clock because every Friday we're going to be getting with the hockey club head coach, Bear Torney. Andre Torney is going to join us, and he's going to give us his thoughts, and that's a really awesome thing for us. All through the season, we're going to get the head coach of the Utah Hockey Club every Friday. So one lucky listener is going to be able to win a pair of tickets to the Utah Hockey Club versus the Boston Bruins. You just heard that correctly. It still sounds weird to say, JJ, right? Like, honestly.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
How cool is that?
That's on October 19th. So you listen on Friday, you can win those tickets for the next day at the Utah Hockey Club taking on the Boston Bruins. So we'll give out a keyword, basically. And then if you're able to deliver it, you hear Coach Bear Torney say it, and then you call right then, and we'll get you that pair of tickets. So there you go. Sound easy enough? And the keyword that you're listening for is Bruins. I'll say it again. The key word for Friday that we're going to try to get out of Coach Bear is the word Bruins. All right?
I think he'll say Bruin.
The Bruin. That also will be accepted.
Yeah, that is also count.
Yeah, he's not big on the
We just want to make that
plurals.
clear.
Yeah. Player, Bruin. We got a lot of good player on this team. Or, I might just make JJ yell it at the end if Bear never actually says Bruins. So when you hear it during the segment, you can call in right then. All right. Clear as mud? Perfect. So ESPN is so desperate for ratings. I say that because I fall for this every time, too.
Well, trust me, they are.
Oh, yeah.
They're not dummies.
No. And guess what? So this time of the week, every week, starting in 3 weeks, we're going to be getting the college football playoff top 25 breakdowns. All right? And ESPN is doing a college football playoff projection for the bracket. It looks exactly like the same graphics are up. Reese Davis is chatting with Heather Dinich right now, just like you'll see during the regular reveal shows during the year. They're not revealing anything except for projections. Based off of
Feels like they're doing a dry run of the show without doing the show.
Yeah, it's like a rehearsal, and they're putting all the graphics up, like I said, but they're doing the projection based off of the AP poll. Okay? So you know how it's going to shake out. You've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia. But your 1, 2, 3, 4 in the bracket obviously is going to include a Big 12 champion, an ACC champion, and then also your champions from the Big 10 and the SEC. But after that, it's a little bit of a Wild West of trying to figure things out. They're just kind of going chalk with the rest of the teams in the rankings. And so what that means is, based off of those brackets that they have up right now, the projection is Iowa State, because they're the highest-ranked AP team out of the Big 12 right now, and they're undefeated, they would be the 4 seed on this bracket for ESPN. Whereas BYU, you might be asking, they were, according to this, the second team out. Which, by the way, I think it's rude to put down how close were we? You know, when they do that in the selection shows for basketball, they're all, you're right. The next 4, it's like the first 4, the next 4, and like you go, well, we were third on the next 4. So you were the 7th team that they would have gone to if they would have put it out there.
They're telling you that you're mid and you're not good enough for this tournament.
You're not good enough. Well, and in this case, Notre Dame would be considered the first team out. Again, they have a loss against Northern Illinois, and they are somehow ahead of BYU in the bracket.
This gives me another chance to get angry and grind my gears about Notre Dame being ranked ahead of BYU right now. What a farce.
It's fine.
They've lost to Northern Illinois. How are they ranked ahead of BYU?
It's Notre Dame. They win the national championship all the time. Checks notes, 1988.
I don't get it, AP voters.
I do. We do. There is something, you fall for the logo. You know what I mean? I can't think of in sports in the United States, at one point, that Notre Dame logo, when I was a kid, was one of the most important logos of all of college sports.
I get all that.
And so it's still hard to stomach.
If people whose job is to evaluate these situations and these teams and make these rankings, you need to do your homework.
I know, but it feels – but see, I'm telling you.
BYU has 2 wins over top 25 teams.
Right.
One of them on the road. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Who's not undefeated, by the way.
They're
not even the best team in the MAC, and Notre Dame lost to them at home.
Yeah.
So stop it. Come on, AP.
Right. That's fine. But again, BYU would be considered the second team out on this. Now, Boise State is 15 because is ranked 15th in the AP poll. They're 5-1. They lost to Oregon, at Oregon, obviously. By the way, last-second field goal. I mean, that's a good loss, right? When you talk about
for 90% of that game, I thought Boise State was going to win.
The Idaho Vandals had almost as good of a shot as the Ohio State Buckeyes did this weekend to win in Eugene this year too. So, look, there are moments in a season that you're trying to put together some magic that weird stuff happens, and Dan Lanning has weathered that storm so far for Oregon.
By the way, Big Ten, how's that travel going?
Oh boy,
how much fun are you enjoying that? Have fun at Maryland, USC.
Wow. Have fun going out to Rutgers, UCLA.
I think it's something like, I don't know. It's crazy. The stats crazy.
Oh, they're in
the teams that have had to travel 2 time zones in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think there's only 3 teams that even won.
If I'm American Airlines,
and 2 of the wins are over UCLA.
If I'm Delta or an American Airlines or United, I'm the official travel partner of the Big Ten or the SEC because of how insane the distances are between teams. I mean, specifically the Big Ten. So anyway, bottom line is this. BYU fans, you have a real shot. In the next 2 weeks, if BYU takes care of business against Oklahoma State and against UCF down in Florida, both that look like very winnable games, by the way, now. They didn't look like that 6 weeks ago.
Crazy how quickly things can change.
Yeah. If that's the case and if that happens, when the actual day comes and it's going to be 5/21 on a Tuesday in early November, because they'll be in their bye week when those rankings come out, where will the Cougars be? They will be probably, if they win those 2 games, it will probably be a top 10 team. But will they be put on that list? If Iowa State stays undefeated, and let's say BYU is ranked 9th or 10th, JJ, are they put into that? Are they put in the pot? Are they in that first, 11, 12, 13 seed or 11, 12 seed kind of area on this bracket?
I think they should be. I think that when the real college football playoff rankings come out and they win the next two, then they'll see their name called, which is crazy. I mean, just knowing where the program was last year and where they're at now, to be in this position and have that kind of an opportunity is pretty cool. They got to take care of business the next 2 weeks, but BYU's put themselves in this position to be considered, and that's one of the great things. We need to talk about it more, how amazing it is for BYU to be Power 4. Because all the frustration and all the stuff that used to be a problem in the past for the program is gone. You have access. You have a seat at the table. If you can put together a great run like you did in the 80s, you can be competing for national championships. You can do it at BYU. They're showing it right now. You have access. If you win out, you're in the college football playoff.
So the powers that be at places like ESPN, they put together a poll of the college football's unbeaten teams and where they are ranked. Which now there are 11. There are 11 teams that are on this list. The Longhorns are number 1. The Penn State Nittany Lions are 2. Okay. Now this is based off of the SP Plus and their FPI rankings. Okay, and on top they take into consideration a bunch of different things. So some of it's the computer, some of it's I think they're mostly leaving it up to a bunch of different computerized models, and then they make their pick. So because you could make the argument like, okay, Penn State is ahead of Oregon. That's the way they have it. Miami is 4. Indiana is 5. Sorry. Iowa State is 6. BYU is 7. The Pitt Panthers are 8th. Army is 9th. And the Navy Midshipmen are 10th. And then, of course, the Liberty Flames round things out at 11, just like you had them on your list, JJ. All right, so
I'm big on Liberty.
I know. So there you go. For what that's worth, the 11 undefeated teams that are in college football right now, which is crazy to say that BYU is in that list, but they're ranked 7th out of the 11 that they have on the list right here. So, and then finally, let's get to our power rankings. You tell me if Mitch and I got it right or wrong this week, and I'm happy to take your criticisms or your agreements or whatever it might be. We kept BYU at number 1 this week, despite the fact that they are ranked behind Iowa State in the AP poll. Is it right to put them number 1 over Iowa State right now?
They have the better resume.
Okay.
Iowa State does have that win at Iowa, but BYU has 2 top 25 wins.
Yeah, and the AP poll is dinging them for I don't know what reason, but there you go. I think because they were so far outside of the top 25 discussion at the beginning. That's why early rankings matter.
They do. Especially
for teams who are going undefeated. I mean, Iowa State was, I think, in the preseason, they were like 23rd, but they moved up quite quickly, like you do. BYU had to do a little bit of extra work to even start getting some votes and then to start getting into the top 25, and then there you have it.
Iowa State's offense isn't doing what BYU's offense is doing.
Sure.
So I go BYU ahead of them.
Still scary, though. And that's why
they're good.
BYU and Iowa State not playing one another is a massive deal for BYU because this thing could absolutely line up to be a Big 12 championship game in Arlington. Kansas State 3 ahead of Texas Tech 4. You agree with that?
Yes, even though Kansas State has a loss to BYU, I think Kansas State's better than Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is one of the undefeated teams in conference play, which has been a shock so far. And so
they lost by 20 points to Washington State.
That's true. I got a little bit of pushback from people on that because we put them ahead of or behind Kansas State. Mostly from Utah fans who are like, "Oh, just because Kansas State beat BYU doesn't mean you need to put them up high." Or lost to BYU doesn't mean you put them up higher than Texas Tech. Arizona State 5, Colorado 6.
Colorado's too high.
The thing is, they didn't lose. It's not like they got the doors beat off of them by Kansas State. They, in fact, were in that game until the last minute and a half.
They were in that game at home. They should have at some point led or
right.
Had it felt like Kansas State was in control the whole way.
Does Arizona State feel right at 5 after they beat Utah? And they're now 5-1 and 2-1.
Yes,
I think so too.
Their only loss was to Texas. Wait, who beat Arizona State? It was Texas Tech, right?
Texas Tech.
So there you go. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
All right. Colorado 6, and then we put West Virginia 7. They're 3-3 overall. They're 2-1 in Big 12. You could swap Colorado and West Virginia if you felt like it. If you were, I would be okay with that. It's hard.
They
because
are coming
based
off a loss. They did get
Yes.
blown out by. I'm not blown out, but they got beat by 2 touchdowns. So I'm good with that.
Okay. Against what I would have thought would have been something totally different, Cincinnati 8, 4-2 overall, 2-1 in the Big 12.
They're just hanging around there. No one's talking about them.
Mm-hmm. And then Arizona, we have at 9th at 3-3, and then 1-2 in the Big 12. This was a hard one for us because Utah is 4-2 overall, but they did lose to Arizona, and they're also 1-2 in Big 12
Can't
play.
put Utah ahead of Arizona right now.
Utah is at its lowest power poll ranking that we've ever had in the 2 years that we've done this, at 10th. Feels weird. Baylor is 11th at 0-3 in conference play, but 2-4 overall. This is an argument you could have too. Houston just came off of a win over TCU. Over TCU.
Yes.
They're 2-4, and they're also 1-2 in the Big 12. They at least have a win in conference play. Should we put Baylor behind Houston, or is Houston just still terrible?
Houston's bad.
Okay.
And you have TCU where they belong, which is below Houston.
Right. TCU is 3-3 overall, 1-2 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma State is 14. UCF is falling considerably because no one knows where that free fall is going to end for KJ Jefferson and the folks there down in Gus Malzahn's program. And then Kansas is 16 with the absolute worst record in the entire conference, if you can believe it.
I'd swap UCF and TCU.
Okay.
Central Florida beat TCU.
Okay. I think we're just going off of
in Fort Worth.
I think we were just going off of now a lot of our poll is recency stuff. So
I get that.
TCU loses to Houston, but UCF is like in an absolute free fall right now. I don't know what's going on with those guys. All right, so there you go. There's your power rankings in the Big 12. So you mostly agreed with them.
Yeah,
maybe a couple minor tweaks.
I'd swap a couple here and there, but
All
no,
right.
the top we're in agreement on.
Okay. Hey, by the way, before we get into chatting with Todd and Tony here, we want you to listen throughout the season because we are on Tuesdays giving out our Taco Tuesday gift cards to Cafe Rio. I don't know if you know this. Today is Tuesday. That means today is Taco Tuesday. Caller number 12 gets a $20 gift card to Cafe Rio right now. Caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663 gets you the caller number 12, a $20 gift card to Cafe Rio to enjoy those tacos.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. You know, I was working with the staff over in Vegas the whole time, and they got me back right. So, fortunately, I'll be able to roll. I'm sure there's a few new, little nuances, but for the most part, a lot of the same verbiage. Still the same OG right here, so should be able to pick up where we left off. That's the idea.
All right, that was Devante Adams, now former Las Vegas Raider. We were wondering if this deal was going to get done, and then we saw Devante Adams creep into the screen on Aaron Rodgers' weekly Pat McAfee appearance. And that was it. That was that. And, by the way, he feels pretty good. And now that he's with the OG, I thought Derek Carr was the OG. I thought they were going to find then
he's like Jeremy. He has 2 OGs. One in the AFC and one in the NFC.
He's got 2 teams. Big fan of Derek Carr, and I'm also a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. Now, look,
apparently not a big fan of Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
Well, by the way, nobody is. I don't know. Would you want to play for those guys or with those guys?
I get
Not
it.
me.
I know why Devante wanted out. I get it.
Bonkers.
He got his wish. But
he did.
Careful what you wish for.
Well, so you got that deal, and then you had Amari Cooper also getting traded from the Cleveland Browns today to the Buffalo Bills, who now just got way better. And if you're in the AFC East, you should be trembling in the old boots.
That big of a trade, huh?
I'm telling you. Do you think it's 1-2 now?
Go pave Utah to get the scares away.
Listen. So is it a lock that it's going to be the Bills number 1, and then
Yes.
obviously the Jets are going to be fighting for that number 2 spot?
Obviously, the Dolphins, with Tua banged up, even before that, don't have the juice this year. That's obviously a Florida Orange reference. And the Jets are an absolute mess.
Did you see the? I mean, it is pretty crazy because
Patriots don't count.
that's what I was going to say. Did you see the promo that they did
They're a USFL team right
for
now.
for the NFL playing in London this next week? Because it's the Jags and the
I'm in London.
and the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So the voiceover guy's like, "Don't miss it at Wembley Stadium, Drake May." And I was like, "Oh boy." Drake May tries to lead the Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
7:30 a.m. kick. You ready?
And yeah, let me get that NFL Network subscription fired back up again for me to be able to tune into that one.
Breakfast at Wimbledon.
Don't forget Trevor Lawrence and your Jaguars of Jacksonville.
Wait, is that a
I'm
little
kidding.
Jason Statham there? What are you doing
I know.
there?
He's like, he's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the Jacksonville Jaguars over. All right? I'm going to bring Drake May. You shaking in your boots yet? Hey, I didn't know I had a Jason Statham in me. Boom.
You do. That's good.
Drake. I just love that the guy they're all.
The guy they're hyping up is Drake May.
I guess we're going with Drake May. He's like, is this correct? Drake May, am I saying that right? And they're like, yeah. Drake May and the Patriots. It's so dumb. Grab the fish and chips this weekend. This weekend. That's how they say it. They say it weekend. This weekend at Wembley. All right. Enough of that. Let me see here. Hey, other things are happening in the NFL. Is Mike Tomlin ready to start Russell Wilson really versus the Jets this weekend? What a weekend.
Let's ride.
What a weekend. This is the one. Let's ride, everybody. What a weekend for quarterbacks. Russell Wilson and the Steelers.
Yeah, what does Jason Statham think of Russell Wilson starting for the Steelers this weekend?
Back from the dead. Russell Wilson rides his pony of fate. Let's ride, Steelers. Who are they playing? Oh, yeah, the Jets. Can you believe? Aaron Rodgers, what's the over? I'm gonna
NBC Sunday Night Football on
Okay, hold on.
KSL.
Oh, well, and that's going to be amazing for you guys.
It's better than Bengals Giants.
Oh, yes, it is.
Guaranteed.
Well, at least that was a high-scoring game. And it's 10-7 in the fourth quarter, everybody. No, but I was looking at that and I'm going, you know what? This is actually kind of fun because you've got Russell Wilson, you've got Aaron Rodgers and the Devante Adams thing. Let me give you something. How about this? I'm going to set the over-under on the Devante Adams touchdowns for this weekend because they say he's playing, right? They're going to force this freaking marriage, right? Remarriage. Mommy and daddy getting remarried again after their first divorce, okay?
I did a little Googling.
Yeah, I'm gonna set the over-under. You tell me over-under.
Okay.
Devante Adams, 0.5 touchdowns this weekend.
Under.
You don't think he's going to score?
No.
Come on.
Why would he score?
Because
why?
Because they're going to freaking force this thing. They're going to absolutely. They're going to be like the little girl playing with the two dolls. Now kiss.
They've lost 3 games in a row. And in those losses, they've scored 20, 17, and 9.
9.
It's not a dynamic offense. There's not a lot of opportunities for him to score.
Jeremy.
It's not like they're putting up 40 a game and he's going to get shots.
Right. Jeremy looked something up here. What'd you find?
Well, it's the look at the point total just because for reasons.
Reasons. Okay.
Second,
He just happened to have it up on his browser.
Hold on. Can I guess?
Yeah,
42.5.
they wish.
Oh, 30. Is it below 40?
38.5.
Wow.
Second lowest.
Embarrassing.
Broncos Saints is the lowest.
Oh, Broncos
Saints. But 38.5. Except for
That's
some
crazy.
reason.
Spencer Rattler is currently the quarterback
Rattler?
of the New Orleans Saints.
The Rattler. I think
My
they just call him
goodness,
the
he sucks.
Rattler. Come on. Former Oklahoma, former South Carolina.
How many teams did he play for in college?
Remember when he was going to win the Heisman Trophy in like 2021?
Oh, yeah.
Number one overall draft pick as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All of it.
Hey, he's a future Sam Darnold. Think of that. Give him 5 years, he'll be there.
Yeah, well, before you do that, you
Sam
have to
Darnold
fail.
was at least good in college.
But you have to fail miserably for the next 4 years. That's good. And he'll do fine at that. All right. Let's take a break here. Hey, join Hans and Scotty tomorrow from noon to 3. They're going to be down at Chubby's Cafe in Orem, 1087 South, 750 East. Come taste for yourself why the Chubby's is set apart from everybody else. Chubby's Cafe in Orem. That's where the Hans and Scotty are going to be tomorrow. All right. We'll take the break. We'll come back. We will roll out our best and worst. Stay with us. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, best and worst on the program here, brought to you by the folks at Doug Smith Dealerships in American Fork and Spanish Fork. Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. They will get you any of those at the best price and with the best service, certainly. Doug Smith Dealerships in American Fork and Spanish Fork. All right, best and worst. The best is Dan Lanning finally admitted it. They work on a lot of scenarios, JJ. One of them is shoving a guy out on the field to be the 12th man on the field to burn 4 more seconds to allow Will Howard, and I think what somebody referred to as his mush brain.
Oh, jeez.
Ohio State fans are the meanest.
That's not nice.
Will Howard and his mush brain to run the clock out as he ran down the field, and then he slid, though. That was smart.
He did. He did
Into nobody. There was no one there. He slid, and then the game was over. All right. And then your worst is we found out today that Utah Hockey Club defenseman Sean Dursey is going to be out for a while. Upper body injury. He was seen wearing a sling. The next game on Wednesday is going to be at Anaheim, taking on the Ducks. So looking forward to getting one of the best defensemen back for this Utah Hockey Club, Sean Dursey. Speedy recovery. All right. Joining us in studio right now. Our final time to be able to chat with the guys from IBEW 354, your local electricians union, and I will tell you right now, and really the world's most important electrical union, right? Am I getting that right? Utah's one of these places like we don't take advantage of this enough because like there's a lot of members across the country, and like Utah could grow even bigger, and there's room for it.
Yeah, we're knocking on the door of 1 million members nationwide. Well, across the United States and Canada.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit, since Tony's here, and Tony has been representing the Veterans Electrical Entry Program, something that you benefited from as a former member of our military, and transitioning out of that life is already hard enough. The thought of, I got to figure out how to earn a living, I got to figure out how to provide for a family, those things all hit hard when you come back home. And there's the part too where you aren't part of something suddenly that was so huge, and then
Right.
you're at home by yourself, it seems like.
Right.
You guys have this program that allows veterans to be able to transition into electrical work and to do it with a great wage and to do it with the help of the GI Bill.
Absolutely. The program is set up to have veterans complete their first year curriculum before they ETS out of the military, so they can have a job lined up for them when they get to their final destination. The GI Bill does offset the apprentice wage to journeyman wage, so our apprentices that are veterans and have that GI Bill benefit for them do make journeyman wage their entire apprenticeship.
That's awesome.
$41.23 an hour.
That's great. And Todd, this is a great opportunity for people to learn more about this. It's great that the trades are hot right now, and electrical work is a great place to do that. There's a job fair coming up soon where people can learn all the details about this and get started with that apprenticewest.
That's right. Come on down. I remember I got to lead with food this time, right?
Okay,
We're gonna feed you
you're no
November
dummy.
14th at the apprenticeship school in West Jordan, and come check it out for yourself. See what we have to offer as far as the training goes, and meet some of our contractors. Talk to them in person and hear.
We dare you.
Yeah.
Come down. Are you going to be there, Tony? Tony
Absolutely.
can
100%.
run it all down for you, man. He's been an awesome rep of being able to help people understand a little bit more what you can do. Get that job, support your family, do it with a quality trade, and really just one of those things you can be proud of, being able to do the work that electricians do. Let me give you that phone number for the folks at IBEW Local 354, 801-306-0722. That's 801-306-0722. You can just go right over online as well, IBEW354.org. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Appreciate you
having
taking
us.
that
Thanks,
time.
guys.
Absolutely. We'll come back. We got more to go right around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.